All right, for the squat quasi-isometric, remember with quasi-isometrics, they are a really unique way of doing strength training, and we're gonna need a setup for our squat so that we can get to the bottom position of a squat and still feel really stable. So if you don't have very flexible ankles, I highly recommend using enough heel elevation that you can get into a better looking bottom position, especially if you're someone who, if without that elevation, it's really hard to achieve a good looking squat pattern, all right? So again, you can use a little bit of elevation or a lot. You'll likely learn what type of person you are as you train with me more and more. So as we're set up on our squat, quasi-isometric means that we're gonna be moving during the repetition, but we're gonna be moving at a snail's pace. So depending on what I've prescribed for you, I've likely started with around 20 or 30 seconds for your quasi-isometric. So what that means is from this top position, it's gonna take me 30 seconds to get to this bottom position of a squat. I'll start my timer a little bit late here, but as you can see, I'm slowly starting to sink into that bottom position of a squat. So again, I'm sitting my butt back, I'm opening my knees just slightly as I continue to move at a snail's pace with this exercise. Reaching a little bit over the halfway point here. So again, the big key is not pausing at any point and making sure that you continue to move throughout this entire exercise. I'm at my 30-second mark, but I'm not at the bottom of my squat, so I'll keep myself honest and go a little bit lower before I hit that absolute bottom position. And once I do, I don't want to spend any time down there. I'm sinking a little bit further here. That's the bottom, and then I'm slowly gonna start sinking, or rising rather, back up to the top. So that took me right about 50 seconds on that quasi-isometric. And what you'll notice on your very first repetition is going down slow is much, much easier than coming back up slow. So I'm trying to talk louder just so that I can breathe a little bit harder. But this feels absolutely brutal to try and slowly rise up out of the squat, even though my brain knows if I just stand up, all of the pain will just go away. I got 20 seconds left and I got barely any squat left to go. So it's important that you pace yourself throughout this exercise. Again, I generally like to start with a relatively manageable length of time for your quasi-isometric as I finish mine up here. And time. Usually, I'll only prescribe one repetition because you can see they do take a fair amount of time to complete. Just like with any exercise, if that is enough, just body weight, you can do them just body weight. But if you can get through that while explaining it, you should probably hold a weight so that you can challenge yourself just a little bit more.